If you're tired of wondering how you're going to keep your nonprofit funded, you may be missing one thing that changes everything: a simple monthly donor program. And it doesn't have to be fancy, complicated, or stressful. In fact, the best ones are anything but. So many of the nonprofits I work with, we're living campaign to campaign, piecing together grants, events, and last minute appeals. Without predictable revenue, you can't plan ahead, you can't grow, and you definitely can't stop self funding. And after 3 decades in the sector, I can tell you this with confidence. A simple monthly donor program is the most sustainable revenue system a small nonprofit can build. And the best part is, you don't need a big audience, advanced tech, or a huge team to make it work. You just need a donor friendly approach and the right steps. So, in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to build your monthly donor program in 4 simple steps designed specifically for small nonprofits. So, let's dive right in because step one is choosing your giving levels. Before you name anything or build a landing page, start with the numbers. This is the moment where your monthly donor program stops being an idea and becomes a real offer. If you already have donors, we usually start with your average one time gift because that tells us what feels familiar to your supporters. But if you're like most of the nonprofits I coach and don't have any donors yet, that's not a problem. You can still set strong monthly giving levels without a single donor in your CRM. But instead of looking at data you don't have, let's start by deciding what feels realistic for our audience. So think about the people who are most likely to support your work. Are they students, young families, church members, retirees, or working professionals with steady income? For most small nonprofits, a starting level of $10 to $20 a month feels doable, and that becomes your entry level. And then from there, choose 2 or 3 additional higher levels that still feel realistic for your community. This isn't about how much money you need, it's about what someone can say yes to on a monthly basis, given their demographics. And then once you've chosen your levels, we can bring in unit costs. And these are where the numbers meet the mission. So unit costs are simply the real cost of doing one piece of your work. So nothing fancy or complicated, and they don't need to be perfect, but you do want to ask yourself questions like, how much money does one meal cost? How much does 1 hour of support cost? What does it cost to help one animal, one youth, one family? These numbers help you explain the levels that you've already chose. If $10 provides something real, that becomes your entry level impact. If $25 covers a service, that becomes your mid level impact. So, this isn't about putting a price on people or outcomes. It's about being honest and clear about the real work happening on the ground. Donors need something that they can understand and trust. Now, let's put this all together with a real life example for camouflage chaplaincy. When we factored out our unit costs, we ended up changing our starting option to $11 because that is the real cost of supporting 2 caregivers over a year, and 27 is a full day of support, and so on. That's it. If your numbers are reasonable and truthful, you're doing this right. And then once your levels and unit costs are set, everything else in your monthly toner program becomes easier. And then we can move on to the fun part, which is packaging your program so people actually want to join. So, packaging is where you wrap your monthly donor program in a clear message, a simple theme, and an identity that feels meaningful. So, this doesn't mean a big branding exercise or creative overhaul. It means making the program easy to understand and emotionally clear. And that's what turns your program from a payment plan into a group that they want to be part of. So let's break this down into what you actually need. First is to create one clear program name and promise. This is not about explaining what each dollar does because you already did that in your giving levels. This is about explaining the purpose of the group. Your program name and promise should answer one simple question: what does this community make possible together over time? So, for example, Hope Builders, stand with families every month so no one faces crisis alone, or Safe Night Circle, keep our doors open for people who need shelter all year long, or the Compassion Crew, provides steady, reliable care for animals who depend on us. Notice how these statements focus on stability and belonging. They tell donors what they're joining, not what they're buying. That's the shift that makes monthly giving feel meaningful. And second is to choose a simple, recognizable theme. So this includes your colors, your imagery, and your tone. And it needs to feel warm, consistent, and clearly connected to your organization. So your theme doesn't need to be clever or trendy. In fact, I recommend using your existing brand colors, fonts, and photos. But I do want you to think about calm colors, human photos, and language that feels reassuring rather than urgent. So your monthly donor program should feel steady, not dramatic. This visual and emotional consistency help donor feel like they belong to something stable and trustworthy. And then third is define your donor experience, not donor perks. So people don't join monthly giving programs because of the merchandise or the gifts. They join because they feel emotionally connected. They understand the role they play and they trust where their money is going. Now, that said, donors still want to know what it feels like to be a monthly supporter. What they value most is feeling informed, included, and appreciated. So instead of perks or merch, think in terms of benefits that strengthen your connection with them. So, for example, monthly donors can receive updates created just for them. They can hear stories before they go public. They can get a behind the scenes look at the work that you're doing. Or maybe you can even give them discounts on event tickets, but whatever you choose, they should be relationship builders. And then fourth, anchor your program with story-based key messaging. So you don't need a ton of different stories. Just choose a story and weave it through. It should represent the heart of your mission. It should show who your work helps, the challenges they face, and how that steady, reliable support changes the outcome. Next, you're going to need a clean website landing page with your program name, promise, giving levels, key messages, and one image or short video that shows hope, safety, or transformation, along with a simple, easy to use monthly donation form. And that's it. When donors understand the purpose of the program, feel emotionally connected, and trust the organization behind it, joining feels natural. And then once this is in place, you're ready to start sharing your program with the people most likely to say yes. So, our next step, let's talk about promotion because even the best monthly donor program won't grow if nobody knows it exists. And here's the most important thing to understand: promotion does not mean launching a big campaign, creating fancy graphics, or posting every day on social media. Monthly giving grows through quiet, warm, personal invitations, not big public pushes. So if you already have donors, start with your warmest audience. This is your repeat donors or long-term donors. If you don't have donors yet, though, start with the people who already believe in your mission. So board members, volunteers, partners, former clients, families, and even your most engaged social media followers. And always begin with personal outreach. So if you can, make a phone call. A real voice goes a long way. If you reach voicemail, leave a short message. If calling isn't possible, then we can send a brief personal email. The key is that it feels human, not mass produced. And start by acknowledging their past support. So you can say something like, I wanted to reach out because you've been such a steady supporter of our work. Your support really does make a difference, and I'm grateful for the way you show up for this community. Then introduce the program in simple everyday language. So something like, we're starting a small group of people who want to help provide reliable support each month. It's called the Green Guardians, and the idea is simple: protecting our environment every month so the land, water, and wildlife we care for are never left waiting. Then you make the clear, direct ask. Would you become a monthly donor at $25 a month? Now, you can also use your mass email to support your outreach. The email is still where donors make giving decisions. So send out one dedicated email to your subscribers, introducing the program, clearly inviting them to join. And then after that, you can add a small monthly giving mention to your regular newsletters. I mean, one sentence is enough. Something like, if you'd like to support this work every month, join our Green Guardians community. You could even use that same line as an email footer. Then use the social media sparingly but intentionally. So you don't need a full campaign or daily posts. Think in terms of small moments. Share one story of how monthly donations made an impact. Highlight one giving level, or post a behind the scenes photo of creating a monthly donor welcome package. And then pin one of your monthly giving posts to your profile. So social media works best as a gentle reminder, not the main driver. And I also like to use events. They're one of the easiest places to invite people into deeper support because you already have their attention and trust. So add a QR code to your materials, make a short mention from the stage, and invite people personally during conversations. Promotion isn't about pushing harder. It's about inviting the right people in the right way over time. Now, step 4 is the most important, your stewardship flow. This is the heart of your monthly donor program. This is how you turn those new signups into long-term relationships. But the truth is, what you do in the first 24 hours and in the first few months determines whether someone stays. So let's break this down into two simple parts, because first is your welcome. When someone joins as a monthly donor, it's emotional. They're saying, I believe in this work and I want to be part of it every month. So your job is to affirm that decision right away. Start with a thank you email within 24 hours, and it doesn't need to be long, just warm, human, and specific. Use their name, welcome them to the group, and remind them why their support matters. You can also include a short story that represents the heart of your mission. One paragraph is enough, but the goal is simply to help them picture the impact that they're stepping into. And if you're able, I also like to send a short welcome video from your executive director or founder within the first week. This can be recorded on your phone and it doesn't need to be polished. In fact, the more personal it feels, the better. Monthly donors stay longer when they feel connected to the people behind the work. Then comes the ongoing stewardship, which is simply how you show up over time. If you promised updates, deliver them. You can also add small moments of appreciation that go above and beyond what you promised, like a quarterly update just for monthly donors, a short note sharing a small win, and at year end, send a simple summary showing what their monthly gifts added up to and the impact that it made. People love seeing their impact on their giving, and it reinforces why staying in the program matters. You don't need to be elaborate, but you do need to be real. The goal is stewardship is simple. Make your monthly donors feel informed, appreciated, and included. Treat them like insiders because they are. Now, before we wrap up, if the thought of calling a donor and asking for support freaked you out at all, then up next is a video on the secret to asking for donations without feeling awkward. And if you're watching this thinking, I want that kind of stability and I don't know what to do, that's exactly what we build inside my fundraising fast track program. It's a step-by-step system designed for small nonprofits where we help you put the right fundraising structure in place, build predictable revenue, and stop living campaign to campaign with coaching and support so you're not doing this alone. You can learn more about that in the link in the video's description, so take a look, see if it's a good fit. But thank you for watching. If this was helpful, make sure to drop a comment. It really does support the channel. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you next week.